Hey y'all, I came by to share a little bit of a message with you this evening. This week I had an opportunity to experience the provision of the Lord, and it reminded me of a Bible verse. So I want to talk to you from John chapter 6. Jesus is traveling and he crosses over the Sea of Galilee into Tiberias. And he has his disciples with him, and he notices as they're going along that the multitude is gathering and that the multitude is coming to hear his teaching. And so Jesus looks up and he asks his disciples, where are we going to get food to feed all of these people? And so the disciples begin to respond, and we're going to pick up in verse 7, and Philip says, 200 pennyworth of bread is not enough to feed all of these. And then Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said unto Jesus, there is a lad here which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes, but what are they among so many? He notices this young man, maybe a boy, with his little brown bag lunch. And he sees that he has fishes and bread and says, hey, this little boy right here has these fish and these bread, but it's not enough to feed all of these. And so Jesus said in verse 10, make the men sit down. And there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down and numbered about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he'd given thanks, he distributed it to the disciples, and they handed it out and fed every man there. And then when they were filled, Jesus said to his disciples, gather up the fragments that are left over. And in verse 13 it says, they gathered them together and filled 12 baskets with fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which remained over and above unto them that had eaten. You see, what that little boy was carrying in his little brown bag, the Lord could take that and multiply it and use in great and mighty ways. And you know, the same is true with us, that it doesn't matter what we have in our little brown bag, how little it may seem that we have, that God, when we apply it to Him and allow Him to use it as He sees fit, He can do great and marvelous things. There's a church ministry that is closing down the doors of their church after 50 years in the ministry. And it has been grieving their hearts of the changes that are taking place and the end of this ministry, but knowing that they can pass this mantle on to someone else. So as I went over and was meeting with the pastor and his wife, and they were sharing some blessings that can be carried over to our church to help in ministry. And so the pastor's wife had all kinds of just little sort of things that she wanted to give us, and things that she treasured and thought a lot of. And then she came up with these little brown bags. And she had, these are very small, like you can see, they're just small little brown bags. And she said, hey, we have these bags. Do you think you could use them? I said, well, I don't know what we could do with those. She said, let me tell you what we did. She said, when we ran the bus ministry and had a couple of 100 children, said we would put 2 little cookies in there or 2 pieces of candy, and we would use that to hand out to all the children. And oh, they just loved it. She said, and we have these little bags left over, and I don't know what to do with them. I said, well, I tell you what, if you want to donate them to us, I'm sure the Lord can make a use for them. And I said, we'll be glad to take those. Now, y'all, I'm going to be serious with you. These bags, they're kind of small. I really didn't know what I could purpose them for, but I knew that if the Lord was going to provide, that He was going to have a need for these to be used at some point. So this weekend, we're going to celebrate our 5th anniversary at Pathway Church. And we've been preparing and trying to make sure we've got everything in line to keep people protected and social distancing and things like that. And so then I thought, Lord, how am I going to get forks and spoons to everybody? What can I do? And I was standing in the store and I was looking for something that I could put with a napkin and a fork or something and put it together so people didn't have to touch everybody else's forks in a way that I could present it that would look nice to our guests. Then the Lord reminded me, you have those little brown paper bags. And I began to think about this little brown paper bag and how we had been blessed with so many of these and that I could use this. And so I picked up some little stickers, little crosses, and I took them back to the church. And as I sat there, I began to fold up little napkins and a fork and a spoon, and I could fold them and put them right inside of this little brown paper bag. And with the cross on there, it just turned out lovely. And it looked so nice sitting on our tables, ready for our guests to come and break bread with us and to share the goodness of the Lord. 5 years of blessings have been poured out in our ministry. And this was just such a wonderful reminder, just like this young boy in our Bible story who had his little brown paper bag that his mama had put his bread and his fish in and sent him out to work for the day, and that he would have this and present it to the Lord, and the Lord could feed the multitudes. And so this week, as the Lord has blessed me with these little brown paper bags, I just wanted to share with you that the Lord will always provide. And it might be a little bitty brown paper bag, but God can do mighty things with that if you just seek Him and you present it to Him and you allow the Lord to use those little things in your life. What a blessing it was for us to have these little brown paper bags. I shared with my sister how the Lord had opened a door and made a way that these little bags could be useful. And she was so blessed and excited to hear that. And I can't wait for Sunday when everybody comes in and sees our tables set up and they see these little brown paper bags with their utensils safely placed for each and every one to protect them, but also to provide them a means for them to eat their meal with us. And so what a wonderful reminder this is. And so I hope that this blesses you. I hope you know that the Lord can take whatever little bitty thing you have and He can do great and mighty things with it. You just commit it to the Lord. I thank you for watching and listening. If you want to know more about the Jesus that I talk about or the miracles that I talk about, I would love to have that conversation with you. You can message me. You can get in touch with me through Pathway Church on Facebook, or look us up in Porterdale, Georgia, and I would love to introduce you to my Waymaker, my miracle worker, and my Savior. Thank you, and God bless.